Hello and welcome to Clydebridge Station. Now this video today is not so much an update video, but it's a sort of, this is what I'm going to do and we're going to see if I can actually achieve it video. This is the most recent arrival on the layout, this Royal Bank of Scotland building, and it's it's a Bachmann product, and actually I bought it off a gentleman on Facebook who runs a model railway buy and sell group, and it come branded as a Bachmann Bank. I've rebranded it as Royal Bank of Scotland as it would have been in 1990, so it's filled in another part of the street scene. It just leaves us here with this little bit, and I need to try and fill in. So what I've decided to do, because we're still all in lockdown, is do something quite unusual. And it's another test of my skills. You may remember over on the other side of the layout, there used to be a big Scotmid supermarket that had made out of scrap wood. That got replaced early in the year, back at the end of February, by that Scotmid supermarket, which is a Gagemaster Fort Hampton supermarket kit. I built it as low relief. Well, I'm going to try and scratch build something using scrap bits of balsa wood and whatever else I can find. And we're going to put in here a small low relief entrance to a nightclub. And I'm going to brand it Quadrant Park. The reason I'm branding it Quadrant Park is because that's the nightclub that my favourite DJ Lee Butler from Liverpool cut his teeth on. So that's going to sit at the end here. I haven't made up the Quadrant Park sign yet. We'll do that at a later stage in this. But I've got an idea of the small exterior I want to base it on. I'll let you see that. I'm a member of a group on Facebook called Old Fife. And when I was growing up in the 1980s, there was a nightclub on the corner of what's now Charlotte Street and the Esplanade, next to the Esplanade multi-storey car park, called Jackie O. It was actually originally opened as the Jackie O, and it later became Jackie O's, and then it was Club Era, and latterly the Candle Rooms. Don't go bother looking for it nowadays. You'll be able to see it in Google Street Views, the Candle Rooms from 2009, but it's now apartments and retail units that's on the site. And that's the idea I wanted to do, is to try and get the entrance to the nightclub. Jackie O had quite an interesting front. It's not quite clear here, but if I zoom in a little bit, there's this slatted wood and the tile effect, and it's something like that I'm wanting to achieve. Oops. But that's the original logo of Jackie O. It's not something I'm going to be able to recreate here. Later rebranded. However, this is the sort of one. Brian Menzies actually sent me this, replied to my post in the Old Fife Facebook group, and I'll get it up. This is when it was called Club Era. I actually went in there at one time during a works night out, and you can quite clearly see the blue door, the black sort of tiling effect, and the red. It's the colour of the slatted wood. When it became the Candle Rooms, the black background was still there, but the slatted wood had been taken back to a more natural wooden colour, probably along the lines of the colour of the cork that you see there. So that's the sort of thing I'm going to try and recreate. Now, this may turn out to be successful, this may turn out not to be successful, but the reason I'm going to do it is just to let you see if I can or can't do it, and if I make a complete mess of it, at least hopefully you'll all learn from my mistakes. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Somebody else sent in this one here. You just see it there. I'm not sure about that one. I like the red, so I'm going to actually go for that with the red on it. But what I'm also going to do is slightly change the style of the slats depending upon what I've got under there. I'm looking at the possibility of we do it over here, the entrance being in the middle, the slats going that way one way, and the other side of the door going the other way. And obviously you noticed on there that it was 2 stories the building, so I'll try and replicate that as a 2-story building on here. So let's, I'm going to have a hunt down, see what I've got down there and attempt to scratch build. Right, well, I've had a little look around and I've got this bit of scrap wood here that I can use, and it's about the right size. Now obviously I've got this problem with here, but we'll try and work around that. For the tiling effect around the door, I've got this old roof slate, you could just see that there. I know it's painted silver there, that was a test for the shopping centre, but that can be painted black. The background here would have to be painted black. And I've also got these little thin styrene strips. Now, did I get one in there? I actually got these off a friend in Brockley Winds who was selling some stuff. They actually could just be ideal for what I'm needing them for. Now, there was a band that went along there to separate the ground tier from the top tier. And I'll have to try and recreate that somehow too. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I'll need to cut away the bit here for the door. But that only then gives me another problem in trying to make the entrance bit fully done. So I've got lots of challenges to do, but I'm going to have a go at it. I like where it is now. I'll need to cut space for some windows too. So this is not going to be straightforward, but please do stick with me on this. The project is not going to be done in a single day, no way, because I've got to paint things, let things dry and that. But what I'm going to do is cut the spaces for the holes, and then for the door and maybe 2 windows, and then apply the black paint, and we'll see where we are from there on in. And I'll maybe then experiment with this stuff as well. I've actually got 4 strips of it, so it's there, I've got it, I'm as well trying to use it. I've also got to try and make the Quadrant Park sign up as well. Right, well this is where we're up to now. The cutting has been rough, as you can see, but we've got spaces for 2 windows. They'll be covered with some plastic card around there to create window sills. This is going to be the entrance door. Now obviously I've got this problem here with this rough cut, and the same on this bit, which will also get painted black. So the way I've come up with it is to possibly put that bit on there, glue it, put this bit onto that, and then put another bit on there to sort of hide the rough cut. So that's how I'm going to do that. So what I need to do is paint this black and put the strip along there at the end where the nightclub name is going to go, and I'm actually going to paint that silver initially, or grey rather, that way that, excuse me, I'll be able to then once it's painted just start putting it together. I'll need a little bit for the roof as well, but we will come to that. And that's how these tiles would look. I'll just have to cut them, and I think I'll paint them black as well. So what I'm going to do is get painting now, and once I've done the painting, I'll let you have a look at it, and then we'll also hold there before we go into the next bit. Okay, so that's some of it painted as best I can now. You'll also notice that this bit here and this bit here haven't been painted yet. They'll get white emulsion put on them once the black is all dried, and the grey strips will be put on at the end. I had thought I had some clear plastic that come with the Forthampton supermarket kit, but I can't seem to find it. So I'm going to have a good hunt around for that, but if I can't, I've got a good alternative, because I can actually use the plastic from this and cut that, and that should do as an alternative instead to make windows out of. So not a great loss if I can't find it. So at least I've got something else. I'm not going to go and start cutting and painting the slats for the nightclub yet. That's going to be some time before I do that. I need to wait on this being dry and get the peripheral bits on. So it's going to take a couple of days. So while that's drying, what I'm going to do is we're going to go back up to the house and we're going to try and look at some designs for the Quadrant Park signage. Okay, so we're back up in the house now while the buildings are drying. And I'll explain a bit more about that in a minute, but I've done a web search, and this is actually from a DVD, that one there. It shows you the black lettering on the red background. And we've got this one here. And that's what it looks like there. I don't know what that font is, so I went for something that I thought would be quite close to it. So what I actually found was Aharoni. That's the font I've chosen. I've done two. I've got this one here. It has black lettering on a red background. That looks pretty good. Much brighter than this plain one here. And I've also done a small one here with the quad on it in white. I'll probably colour that red as well. I may need to actually increase the size of that a bit. I've also got here the little information signs that will be put onto the slate. These will get stuck onto plastic card. The plastic card will get stuck onto the slate, and then that'll allow me to have that bit completed. Just put a random entry fee, £4, and the opening hours 8 PM to 1 AM. I think what I'll do is I'll make another bit, the quad, in that same size of font, and then colour it in a black background. That'll do for the side of the building. But that's what I've done. I've went on here to my laptop and I've managed to use the Aharoni font, and yeah, having seen what it was like on there, and given the fact that the slats are red, I think that'll look just perfect. Right, so 24 hours later, that's it dried. This and this have had their grey paint put on. That was already painted grey. The black's pretty much dry now, so it's a case of assembling stuff that I can now assemble. Just a little thing to point out to you though. I've printed off the signage, and you can see here when I filmed a bit up in the house, I brought it down. That's what the sign will look like on the front. That'll go into there. Now I've kept the file on the laptop because if I ever need to print it off again, I can do so. I've already got it made. Similar style font to what was on the original Quadrant Park nightclub in Bootle. Style of lettering is exactly the same. So what I'm going to try and do is get as much of that stuck down as I can, and then while the grey is drying, I can actually do some other stuff as well associated with the front and the side. So we'll get on with that now, and there should be a wee transformation when you come back. I've had to open the shed door now because at the time of filming it got very hot in here. The sign is on squint, and unfortunately the glue's dried, so there's not a lot I can really do about that now, but I'll try and fashion some plastic card round to make some sort of window framing, along with bits of plastic I might that'll try and recover. This is one of the support pillars to hide the cut there, and this is the old slate that's on now. That was a bit of grey paint that leaked down there, but I'm going to cover that over anyway. Now with regards to the slats, so there's the three there that I'm painting now that are going to go here, here and here, and there's going to be a couple more. I've painted all of one of them, but the other two I've just painted a bit because I'll need to let them dry. Then paint the bottom bit, and then once it dries I can get it glued on. Now, one problem that has manifested itself is on the side here, because I think my quadrant park sign might be a bit too big, the quad for here, so I'm going to have to try and fashion something else in for that instead. And then obviously once I get that bit done, I've also got to think about trying to put a roof on the building. Now what I might do is use some old bits of wooden pillars that I've got here and possibly use them instead. I think there's about 2 or 3 in there, cut them to size and nail it onto another bit of balsa wood. So that's where we're up to, and I'm going to carry on and try and do a little bit more painting, and I'll get the sign stuck on the tile bits and we'll see how that all looks. Well, here's where we're up to. I'll just get out of the sun a minute. That's what it's going to look like. So what I'll do is I'm going to take a breather there, and then what I'll do is I'll come down another 24 hours later and carry on with that and get the red effect done, and then we should be well on the way by tomorrow to completing the frontage, and then it'll be a case of getting the sides done. And you can see I've still got a strip there to get done. Right, so there's the frontage completed. What I ended up doing though was cutting the white angled strips and then gluing them onto the front and then painting them afterwards. I found that was actually better in the end. It lets me get the job done quicker and also means I'm not handling wet paint. The next bit is going to be tricky. I've already attempted twice to stick this bit to the side of the nightclub, so I'm going to have another go, and then I have to stick this bit onto it. That in itself isn't easy either, and once that's all done I can then put the strips on the side and then paint them red. That'll then mean I'll just have to get another bit for the other side of the nightclub, which won't need any sort of painting done to it, and then I can go and try and make a sort of roof. So wish me luck on this one. Right, it's not finished yet. A couple of problems I encountered. I was having a job trying to get the side bit on here, so I've had to actually go and put this bit on, and what I'm going to do is I'm still going to paint it black and grey, and I'll actually probably just stick the sides on, the strips on there and then I obviously need to do something for the roof. Now it's going to stand out a bit squint, something like that. There we go. But the roof itself, I found some corrugated iron sheets, which I don't think I'm going to need anywhere else on the layout, so I may actually just decide to go for a roof like that. One alternative might be, once I've done this, is I'm definitely going to paint the roof grey. I might actually stick some spare ones of these around it. That's actually where the structure is up to now, so there's a bit of more painting needing to get done, and then we'll be well on the way to partying. Now it's beginning to really look like a sort of 1970s built nightclub now. You can see around here I've still got this problem here with the paint joints, but that's not a big issue because this sign here is a little bit too big anyway, so I'm going to reduce the size of the font, and then I can glue a bit of plastic card and cover that over. The other problem I've got, which again will be easily solved, is you could see down here I've got this little gap in the wall. I've got some of the old engineer's blue brick that's used on railways. I've got a sheet of that somewhere, and if I could hunt that out, I'll actually use that on the side there. If I can't find it, it'll just be another case of painting it grey. But that is actually where we're now up to with the quadrant park. So we are really close now to finishing. I've got down here this here. Now, it was originally used for making the walkways at the layout, but at the station don't need any anymore. So it's going to come in handy to form a little wee drainage channel round. And that'll get a painting of grey once it's on the layout. Once that's dry and this is glued on, that'll be painted grey, and that'll complete the top bit of the roof. It is very, very difficult to do this, but one more day at it and we will have a completed Quadrant Park nightclub. It's certainly something that's not modelled that much on railway layouts. I've seen nightclubs, so I just had to have a go at it. So there we have it. That's the Quadrant Park nightclub complete. Notice I haven't painted this bit here, but I'm just going to leave that as is now. And I may repaint that grey later on. But that is it more or less now. In fact, it is complete. I've got the sign there as well with the quad. I'll just let you see that there. That was its nickname, the quad. And it just shows you, you don't even need to do this when we're locked in, even when we're out of lockdown. Please have a look in your shed, your model railway loft, wherever your railway layout is, and like your sheds in the house. You may have existing resources you can use to make up something that's unique to your own layout and that nobody else has. That's what I've done here. That's not cost me a penny. It took me a few hours to actually do that, but I've knocked up something that I wanted. Had an idea in my head and I've made that. And as I say, you can go and look around your shed or wherever, see what existing resources you've got and try and knock something together, an idea that you've got in your head. You'll be saving yourself time, you'll be saving yourself money because you don't have to go out and buy the stuff, you've already got it, and you'll be saving the environment because stuff isn't going to waste, and you'll be giving yourself own satisfaction that it's something that you've got, so everyone's a winner. So there we go. That's the Quadrant Park nightclub all done now. Obviously still work to be done on the rest of the street scene. Lamp posts and that'll have to get put in at some point, but that's the very last building on the street scene now. The next video from this series will be the May 2020 update, when I'll talk about some other stuff that I've done on the layout. But I hope this provides some inspiration to you. Just have a look on Street View, have a look on photos on various photo sharing websites and see what that is, and think, I could do that, and you will be able to with whatever resources you've got. So I hope this is provide you with some inspiration, and please take care of yourselves, stay safe and enjoy your layouts, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.